content in this podcast is based on my own life, personal views, and lessons learned. I'm not a licensed therapist, counselor, or professional in mental health or relationship coaching. The discussions here are meant for inspiration, encouragement, and personal reflection, not as a substitute for professional advice. Additionally, the podcast will not contain any details or discussion regarding my children's families out of respect for privacy and personal boundaries. Listener discretion is advised as some topics may be sensitive in nature. My goal is to create a space for healing, growth, and empowerment. If you or someone you know is in need of professional support, I encourage you to seek guidance from qualified professionals. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to The Outlet with Shauna M. Hi guys, welcome back. We're now on episode 3. How exciting is this? Okay, we've gotten past episode 1, exposed, episode 2, same difference, and now we're on episode 3. I hope you guys have been enjoying this journey with me so far. I'm just excited about how our growth is taking place, how we're on this journey together, and I'm so excited about all the positive feedback that you guys have been giving me. This has been encouraging to me, and it's just motivating me to continue on this journey. It's just so important to have the support of all my family, friends, and most importantly, my husband. I'm so thankful to have my husband's support. He's been so good in allowing me to be free in this moment. He's been so good in allowing me to just be on this journey and just provide all the support that I need. So I'm so thankful for him in that aspect. I'm also thankful for my children. A couple people asked me, where were my children during some of these situations that I found myself in. And I would like to say that God is so good that my children were never exposed to any of this. Never exposed. My children, I just didn't have a lot of people around my children. My children every other weekend or on some weekends would spend time with family, and they just were not around. I did not have people around my children, especially because I had a daughter. And I wanted to make sure that I protect my daughter and also my son at all costs. So I didn't like having just people around my daughter until I really knew or that I felt comfortable with them. So my children were not around, they were not exposed to any of this, and I had to talk to them before I released the episodes, especially my son and my daughter, both of them. I had to talk to them because I didn't want them feeling any type of way based on what their mother had been exposed to. So my children have always been safe. My children have always been in great care. Okay, so we're on this new episode, and this episode is going to kind of bring back in episode 2, where we were discussing unhealthy behaviors leading to unhealthy habits. And with the development of unhealthy habits, it can just carry on with you throughout your life if you don't address those immediately. You have to get therapy. You have to deal with those unhealthy habits in order to find some peace, in order to find your paradise. As I was developing unhealthy behaviors in high school, those behaviors turned into habits. If you can recall in episode 2, I discussed how my friend group or my group of friends, how they would get in disagreements with their boyfriends, and it would be okay for them to get into a fight or get into a scuffle with their boyfriend, and they laugh and talk about it the next day. That's unhealthy behaviors, okay? And that's not okay. And what ended up happening was, because that was something that happened pretty much routinely throughout high school and throughout my young adulthood, I thought it was okay to just carry on. Which led to me having unhealthy habits. So I want to tell you a story about this individual that I was dating. This individual, he was very charming, he was very handsome, he was hardworking, he had his own home, and he had no children. So he seemed like he was a pretty good catch, right? But some things are just an illusion, or some things are just a mirage. You out here in this desert wandering around, and that's just what you come up with. But again, he was charming, he was handsome, he didn't have any children, he had his own cars, and he had his own home, and he was just a hardworking young man. He just seemed like a really nice person. So we were dating pretty heavily, to the point we decided to be exclusive. I really enjoyed spending time with him, and we had developed a great relationship. We had developed these patterns of when we talk and when we see each other. So anything outside of those patterns would be unpredictable and unlike one of us without communicating that. So one night when he got up from work, he didn't call. And nor did he answer my call when I called him. And we spoke every night when he would get off from work or he would come over to visit. The next morning, I hadn't heard anything from him, and I called him and he didn't answer then either. So I had a key to his home. He had a key to my home. I took my key and gained entry into his home. When I went in his home, I noticed that everything was spick and span. The kitchen was clean, the bedroom was clean, the bathroom was clean. And this was so unlike him. He was the type of guy that was always in a rush when he went to work. So he left his home in kind of a disarray, and then he would clean up in the evenings when he got home. So because I noticed the kitchen was clean, the bed was made, and the bathroom was clean, and I would like to even say that his toothbrush was dry. Yeah. His toothbrush was dry. So that let me know that he did not stay home that night. Okay? It let me know he hadn't been home. He hadn't stayed home. So anything that he told me about being home would be a lie. Okay? So when I finally spoke with him a little later that day, he gave me some excuse as to why he wasn't answering the phone and why he wasn't home that morning when I went by. But I had already collected all the evidence I needed to know that he hadn't been home, okay? So anyway, he told me the lies. I accepted the lies, which I should not have, and I let it slide. I just began to develop feelings where I was just kind of like, he's been dishonest and he's probably been unfaithful. So even with that, I continued dating him. I allowed myself to remain in that situation when I probably should have just removed myself. But I didn't. The red flags was there, a big red flag, matter of fact. However, I just ignored it. I knew something was off. As a woman, when our intuition goes off, we are typically right. We're typically on point. But we allow people to convince us otherwise, and we just stay in a place that's not thriving for us. So I decided to continue on in the relationship. So a couple months later, the same thing happened again. When he got off from work, he didn't call me, and when I called him, he didn't answer. The next morning, he didn't call me, and when I called him, he didn't answer again. But later that morning, I received a phone call, and it was from a young lady. She asked me if me and the guy was still dating, and I told her yeah. And she said, well, that makes sense. She said, because you're still his screensaver on his laptop. And she also went on to say he was acting very strangely the night before and the evening that they were together. He just seemed very paranoid. He was checking his windows to make sure no one was pulling up, and he had his phone on silent and, just kind of had his phone tucked away. And she said it just all made sense. And I was like, okay, thank you for the information. And I just discontinued the call. I was thinking about things that I was really angry. I really wanted to, just go off on him and, confront him about the situation. But I chose not to confront him in that moment. And the reason being is I had a commercial property that he had promised to paint for me. And I needed that property painted. So I just had to suck it in for a little bit until I got my property painted. And then we can discuss everything. But as we were traveling to the commercial property, I just couldn't hold it in any longer. And I began to ask him about the young lady who had called and told him what she had said. Of course, he denied it all. He didn't know why she had called. He didn't know why she said the things she said. But I knew he was being dishonest. I knew that this young lady knew what she was talking about because she knew I was a screensaver on his laptop. And she said that he was acting paranoid because he was thinking I may come over, and that just seems like something that he would do. So I know she was telling the truth. So In that moment, I was very angry, and I done something I should not have done. I hit him as hard as I could because I was angry, and I just felt like he was lying to me in my face. And it's just something about a liar. It's just something that makes you despise a liar. And it's something that makes you despise a liar that's lying to you directly in your face, okay? And that just really, really upset me. And again, I hit him. I hit him as hard as I could while we were driving up the highway. Luckily, he was able to pull over, get us to a safe area. And he proceeded to come to my side of the truck to discuss the situation. He wanted to get his point across and put his foot down about the entire situation. I allowed him to say what he needed to say, because sometimes you have to know when to hold them and when to fold them. And so I just wanted to fold at that moment, allow him to say what he needed to say. I wasn't going to push the envelope, okay? I wasn't going to push things too far. So with that, I was still able to, just get my building painted. I apologized, but I was still angry for him lying and being dishonest. But he did paint my building for me, and we were able to get past that moment. But after that, I had to discontinue the relationship. I wasn't going to allow myself to be subjected to that type of behavior. That was still a dry place for me. Even though he checked all the boxes, it was still a dry place. It wasn't a place that was thriving. It was a place where I was feeling lonely, a place that I was feeling lied to, just a place of dryness, no growth, no nourishment. It wasn't thriving at all. It was the desert. And I wanted to remove myself from it. So ladies, at that time, I didn't realize it was the desert, because now just thinking back on it, it was just like, oh, he's a liar. I'm just going to leave him alone, not realizing that I needed to really just look at myself as well, because at that time I felt like he deserved it. And that's not right. That's not right. I shouldn't have put my hands on him, but I felt like he deserved it because he lied to me. But that was the healing that needed to take place within me. Okay, when you get to a certain point when you can do self-reflection and think about the things you've done wrong yourself, that's when you know you're making progress. That's when you know you're working towards a good place. So when you can look at yourself and bring about self-awareness, you're really moving forward in your healing journey. And my healing journey hadn't started at that time, so I just wasn't there. I just felt like he deserved it. Even with that, feeling like he deserved it again, I had been subjected to domestic violence within my family. I had seen family members getting into altercations. I've seen people that were significant to me just in fights. Those are things that I witnessed. My mother was a great mother, but sometimes you can't control the actions of every family member, but once you know, you know. But sometimes you just don't know. So my mother was a great lady. She provided a loving, caring environment for me and all my siblings. But I just want to say, in order for us to start working towards our paradise, we have to be self-aware, and we have to break those unhealthy habits that we've developed from our childhood, from our teenage years, from our young adult years. We have to break those unhealthy habits in order to grow. We have to heal. How do we get to our paradise? We have to seek help from God. We have to ask for help from God. We have to ask for guidance, and we have to ask for healing. Okay, those are the things that's going to help us on this journey. These are the things that's going to start bringing peace to you within. We want to be able to walk in paradise, just being in a state of mind where we feel great. We want to be in a place of fulfillment. We want to be in a place of clarity. We want to be in a place of peace. We want to be in a place of growth where we're thriving, where we feel great, look great. And once you have developed that, nothing can disturb that peace. Nothing can disturb you emotionally, physically, or spiritually. And that's when you know that it's God-given peace. I want you to be at peace in all aspects of your life. And as you're finding your peace, that's how you find your paradise. Peace will lead us to paradise. In paradise, there's peace, okay? In paradise, there's peace. And that's where we're trying to get to. That's where we're going to go. So we're going to start working on our healing. We're going to start working on guidance, asking for guidance, and we're going to start asking God for help. He's the answer. He's the key. God has promised us that paradise is real, and we can have paradise right here on earth as well. So I'm praying that you get to your paradise, and we're going to get there soon. So I'm giving you the keys to help us get there. And once you get there, I just want you to start talking to me about it. As you're on your journey to your paradise, as you're on your journey working through your peace, I want you to talk to me about it. You can email me at theoutletwithsm@gmail.com. theoutletwithsm@gmail.com. Ladies, again, thank you for joining me. Be sure to email me. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share. Tell your girlfriends about it. Let them know if they're looking for some type of motivation and or possibly a little entertainment, that they would really enjoy this podcast. Again, I enjoy you ladies. Email me, okay? Tell me about your journey. Tell me about your stories. Tell me about anything you want to share with me, and everything will be confidential. It can be anonymous, however you want to do it. But I'm here for you. If you want me to share it and talk about it, leave your name out, I can do that as well. Again, we're on our journey to paradise because paradise does exist.